Riley Goodrich, who was 18 years old, grew up in Corona, California, where she was a popular cheerleader and volleyball player in high school. After earning a scholarship to Grand Canyon University in Phoenix, Arizona, she returned home in late 2021 for the holiday season. It was during this visit that she met 19-year-old Anthony Barajas at a July 4th party. Anthony, born on August 9, 2001, was known for his charisma, maturity, and confidence. He excelled academically and athletically, particularly in soccer and martial arts. He was a rising social media star with nearly 1 million followers on TikTok. People loved his comedy videos. He also shared daily life videos on Instagram, but he was uncertain about his future career path. At the July 4th party, Riley and Anthony quickly hit it off and exchanged contact information. Over the next few days, they stayed in touch through social media and arranged their first date. Despite being over 18, Riley wanted her parents' approval before starting a relationship. Her father was initially skeptical of Anthony's social media career as it was his only means of livelihood, but her father eventually warmed to him after seeing his respectful behavior. Finally, he gave his blessing for the relationship. On July 26th, Riley and Anthony went to the Regal Edwards Theater in Corona to watch The Forever Purge, after enjoying dinner at Riley's favorite restaurant. They were excited for their date, and the theater was nearly empty at 9:30 p.m., with only 6 tickets sold as it was the weekday. The other 4 tickets were purchased by a group of friends. During the movie, Riley texted her mother saying the film was boring, but she was still having a good time with Anthony. After that, she stopped messaging. When the movie ended, the theater employee went in to clean and found Riley and Anthony badly injured. Both had gunshot wounds to the head, with Riley already dead and Anthony unconscious. Authorities were notified and they were rushed to the hospital. Initial investigations ruled out the possibility that they took their own life or accidental shooting, as no weapon was found and Riley's wallet was missing, suggesting a robbery. After Riley and Anthony's identities were confirmed, their families were notified and they rushed to the hospital, hoping to provide any helpful information. The police's investigation began at the theater. The case gained widespread media attention, with many fearing for their safety at movie theaters, as the killer remained at large. Investigators learned that only 6 tickets had been sold for the screening, narrowing the suspect list to 4 people. Police initially thought all 4 individuals in the theater could be involved, as it seemed unlikely none of them would have heard the gunshots. However, they later realized that the loud action scenes in the movie, which included gunfire, could have masked the sound of the shots. While this didn't eliminate the possibility of all 4 being involved, it explained why the others might not have noticed the gunfire if they were innocent. Detectives gathered descriptions of the 4 suspects, young men of Hispanic descent who appeared to be friends, but without ID requirements for the movie tickets. They only had physical details to go on. A series of anonymous tips led police to an address in Elsinore, where they found Joseph Jimenez Jr. inside a trailer. His responses to questioning were unclear, and during a search, officers found a firearm and Riley's wallet. The gun matched the one used in the shooting, confirming its link to the crime. Despite this, Joseph denied involvement, and a background check showed no prior criminal record. The other 3 men were located and questioned. They confirmed they knew Joseph but denied any role in the crime. They recalled Joseph acting erratically before and during the movie, mumbling, talking to himself, and shouting. At one point, he told his friends he needed to use the restroom but instead went to his car to get a box. He later returned to the theater with that box. When Joseph revealed that the box contained a gun, his friends initially thought he was joking. However, his odd behavior became more unsettling, and they began to feel unsafe. Rather than confronting him, they told him they were going to the restroom but actually decided to leave the theater. Afterward, they told police they had no idea what Joseph planned to do with the gun, but their fear kept them from confronting him. They considered asking him to leave but worried that upsetting him might provoke him to shoot them. Once Joseph's friends had exited, only he, Riley, and Anthony were left in the theater. During the movie, Joseph stood up and walked toward the young couple. Riley and Anthony, seated in the row in front of Joseph and his friends, didn't notice him approaching. Joseph pointed a gun at the back of Riley's head and fired, killing her instantly. Anthony, startled by the gunshot, looked back and was shot in the eye by Joseph. Joseph then put the gun back in the box, stole Riley's wallet, and fled the scene in his car. The police determined that Joseph did not know the victims and that the attack was a senseless and deliberate act. Joseph's friends reported his strange behavior on the day of the crime, leading authorities to speculate that he might have a mental disorder or was under the influence of some substance. Joseph later confessed to the crime, claiming he suffered from schizophrenia. He said he had been hearing voices from someone he called Abigail and had not been taking his medication for several days. The voices grew louder, warning him that the teenagers of Corona wanted to kill him. In response, Joseph bought a gun for self-defense and, allegedly under the command of the voices, took the lives of Riley and Anthony. 5 days after the tragedy, on July 31st, doctors confirmed that Anthony had suffered brain death. This heartbreaking news devastated not only his family but also his followers on social media, who had been hoping for a miracle. It was later revealed that Anthony had registered as an organ donor, and some of his organs were used to help others in need. In the days that followed, both Riley and Anthony's families came together for a joint memorial service, a deeply emotional event attended by many loved ones and supporters. In Joseph's first court appearance, he entered a plea of not guilty by reason of insanity. His defense team argued that he had been suffering from schizophrenia and was not in a sound state of mind at the time of the crime. To assess this claim, authorities ordered a series of mental health evaluations, which led to delays in the case. The legal proceedings continued for over 2 years, finally concluding in 2024. In February 2024, Joseph Jimenez Jr. faced trial for the tragic killings. His defense team argued that his schizophrenia worsened by not taking his medication, which caused him to lose control on the day of the crime. While doctors confirmed that Joseph had schizophrenia, the prosecution showed strong evidence that he was aware of what he was doing. They presented videos and recordings filmed by Joseph on his phone the day of the crime, showing that he was acting normally. Additionally, the prosecution pointed out that after the murders, Joseph stole Riley's wallet, which showed that he was fully aware of his actions. A key witness, Carlos Gonzalez, a friend who was present with Joseph, testified that Joseph began acting erratically, and after he displayed the weapon, Carlos and the others became afraid and chose to leave. Carlos expressed regret, saying he would have tried to intervene had he known what was about to unfold. In the end, the judge ruled that Joseph had acted with full awareness and was mentally stable on the day of the killings. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Joseph is currently serving his sentence at a California state prison, where he will remain for the rest of his life. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel for more true crime content. See you next time.